Hi everyone, let's go through today's analysis of Bank Nifty Futures using 1 minute candlestick chart. We'll go through every single bar and understand what is going on and what kind of setups were available for the uh, opening range, which is around first 15 to 30 minutes is what I usually track. After that, it mostly becomes slow or boring, or it is a trading range market. So let's start. It was a gap up compared with where it closed yesterday. Bulls did try to move up, but that attempt was failed, and there's a strong bearish close. So bears are winning on the first part. Of course, that is not any signal to go short yet. It is within yesterday's range, right? Then there's a bar 2 wherein bears did manage to push it down quite a distance, right, from 1937 037 to 1900, right, and but in the last few seconds bulls pulled it back up. That's why you see this tail, but it did close bearish. So there's a follow through to bar 1, but it is a weak one. So do we consider this as a trend yet? No, we just wait for further price action to develop, and based on that we'll decide. Okay, our simple setups are: is there a trend or a trading range? If there is a trend, we want to look at the first pullback opportunity and see if there are any traps or somebody's giving up, right? If there is a trend like bearish trend, if the bulls are giving up after there's an attempt to pull back and that fails, right? Or there's a trading range, and then we want to look at the failed breakouts at the edges of the trading range. Okay, so moving on, next bar is this is a gap down, right, compared with where bar 2 closed, and so bears taking charge here for sure, right? And some of the bears sold here, or some of the bulls might have bought the close of this particular bar too, because there's a big tail and they were trying to fail the bearish sentiment here and expecting market to go up further, right? But bar 3 did manage to close bearish, even though there is a tail. So possibly there is some scale in happening by the bulls who bought in here. They're not letting the price to fall down convincingly. So even though there is 1, 2, 3 bars consecutively bearish, it's not a strong move down, right? There are tails on these 2 bars at least. Then you see this slightly gap up compared with this. So bulls are making an attempt to scale in, and at least those bulls who bought in this zone, they want to get out at break even or possibly make a profit. What happened next is, but bears could manage to get a bearish close, so they were not letting bulls take control, right? Now this is an inside bar. Then you see this strong looking bull bar, right? So it's possibly a reversal, but there is a overlap. An overlap, whenever there is a overlap, it's not a convincing reversal or move, opposite move, right? And there's a follow through as well, but we don't do anything here because this, even though this seems to be a decent reversal, we need to wait for further clues. What do you see next? Bears completely negated this bullish power here that you see here, and bar closed strong bearish, but it was held above this particular close. This is where possibly some bears sold. Uh, Price did reach that level, but it was held above that level slightly, and then there's a follow through as well, right? So what you see here is bar closing at its low, right? Some bears might have sold the close of this bar as well, betting on the continuation of this down move, because now we have lower high and lower low, so possibly a bearish trend. We don't know that for sure yet, uh, so we will wait for further clues, and there is no setup like for the pullback in the trend or traps, right? So we wait. What do you see next? There's an attempt by bulls to uh, reverse the trend, and bears knocking it off. Oh, what's going on here? Bears are trying out, bulls are trying out. bears tried to get a breakout here. What do you see next? It closed here, but there's a gap up, and then there's a tail, small tail, which means bears give up. What is happening here? Nobody is able to get a convincing breakout. There's a confusion. You see this bar closing strong. So this breakout also failed. The moment you see something like this happening, nobody is getting a convincing move, no breakout succeeding. You have to think it's a trading range price action. Uh, Participants are confused. They are not able to really get anything sustained. So immediately what I did is I drew this rectangle here, right? Price moved up, price moved down, and I was anticipating that possibly it is going to get a resistance here. That's one. Second, some bulls bought the close of this bar. They scaled in this zone, and they will try and get out at least a break even or some profit, because they would have scaled in this zone. So their initial entry is here, and then the latter entry could have been here or could have been here, because you see this gap up here, and they would have made at least a profit on the second entry, and the initial entry was break even, right? And what do you see next? After these two consecutive bull bars, the third bar attempt was held, right? It did not really succeed. There's one rule that I follow: if we get a strong consecutive 3 bars in a row, possibly the trend is being established. Either it is a new trend, or it is a fresh trend that is erupting, or sometimes it is a reversal. I mean, there is an existing trend, and then there is a new trend, reverse trend or opposite trend is emerging, right? And what you see here is multiple attempts by the bulls again to hold the price action in this zone, but it all had topping tails, which means bears were scaling in this zone. There were some who sold the close of this bar, and by now you can very clearly see that it is a trading range price action, and based on the price action analysis that I explained few seconds back, right? There is an up movement, down movement, up movement, so confusion. Okay, there's no convincing. Now we know that there's a lower high, lower low. So is this a pullback in the trend? Possibly yes, but you have to also look at the context. What is happening right now? Is this a convincing trend, or something that is transitioning into a trading range, right? And a trading range seems to be a more likely case building up here, because price is failing at these boundaries of rectangle that I drew here, right? Well, now what do you do here? You bet on the first pullback in a trend or trading range price action. I prefer trading range price action, right? And what you see here is these tails forming up. Then there is a attempt by the bears to push the price down further. Then there is bulls holding it up, but again a tail here. So clearly bull attempts are failing, multiple attempts are failing. And then you see this a strong looking bear bar closing it at its low, right? So this is where you go short, betting on the trading range. At least it will move down to this low of the rectangle here. That's what happened eventually. So you go short below this bar, right? That is 19025. So you'll get the fill either at the same level or 19024, depends, right? And then you get at least 24 or 25 points profit. So you go for 10 points risk and 25 points of profit here in this trading range price action, which is decent enough to pocket when nothing is happening. You can see what happened later on after the first 15 minutes of trade for opening range session. Nothing was happening here. It is very difficult to trade this, and newcomers should not be doing anything in this area here. Of course, this is 1 minute chart, so lot many number of bars are shown here, and but the price action applies to any time frame, right? I have explained how trading range price action emerged, how you could have anticipated or placed yourself or positioned yourself to make sure you're not getting chopped out, you're not going for a wrong analysis of the context and placing trades, right? So this is how you could have identified the trading range. You could have skipped this trade as well if you are not really sure, or you prefer some to trade with the trend and you want want the clear trend move, and that's what you want to stick to, right? I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.